Well-Trained Mind Press presents Julius Caesar and the Story of Rome, as told by Jim Weiss. Part 1. The Story of Rome. 1. Preface. What happened before the play begins?
About 400 years ago, the world's greatest playwright, England's William Shakespeare, needed a play for his new theatre, the Globe Theatre of London. Shakespeare was the most versatile writer of all time. Any subject and any sort of character came magically to life in his hands. And with all the world from which to choose, the play he wrote told the true story of a man who had lived and died 16 centuries and many miles from Shakespeare's London. Julius Caesar. Writers had been telling Caesar's story even while he was living it, because it was so exciting, and because the life of that ancient Roman, and the manner of his death, changed the world forever. That is why the Romans took the name Caesar and made it the title for their emperors, and why you and I still celebrate his fame every July, the month that was named for him. However, William Shakespeare decided to start his play with the last days of Caesar's life. So before we share a version of Shakespeare's masterpiece, let's explore the story of Rome and of Julius Caesar up to the point where the play begins. Centuries before Julius Caesar was born, Rome was one of many cities scattered across Italy. The people of those cities constantly competed for power, but the Romans came out on top, partly because everything in Roman society revolved around loyalty and support for the family, the Roman religion, and for Rome itself. At first, kings ruled Rome, but at last, the Romans grew tired of this. They drove their last king from Rome and formed a new kind of government. They called it a republic, from the words in their language, res publica, or public wealth, since now more people would share from the benefits of Rome. They created a senate in which leaders made laws, which is where we get the name of the idea for our own senate. Only in Rome, a senator had to be male, own land, and be a member of the noble or aristocratic class, whom they called patricians. Patriot comes from that same word in Latin, the Roman language, and the patriotism of those early Romans was amazing. Here's a wonderful true story about that. It tells of Lucius Cincinnatus, after whom the modern city of Cincinnati, Ohio, is named.
2. The Story of Cincinnatus.
Cincinnatus was a leading senator, a great general, and a wealthy man in the days just after the last Roman king fell from power. Some other Romans worried, Cincinnatus is too important. He might try to become king, and we don't want any more of those. His enemies saw their chance when Cincinnatus's son committed a crime. They said, Roman law makes Cincinnatus responsible for his son's actions. We will make him pay a huge amount of money as a punishment. He will lose both his wealth and his reputation, and no longer pose a threat to the new republic. So Cincinnatus went from the height of power and wealth to laboring in the field of a small farm, which was all that he had left of his once great fortune. His enemies gloated, "That's the last we'll see of him." But they were wrong. One day, a party of Roman cavalry soldiers thundered through the city gates and straight up to the Senate. Rushing inside, they reported, "An enemy army has surrounded our Roman army. Unless you act at once, our soldiers will be slaughtered, and Rome will be defenseless." The horrified senators asked one another, "Who can save us?" They quickly realized Cincinnatus was the man they needed. But they wondered, will he help us after what we did to him? A group of senators rushed off and found Cincinnatus plowing his field alone. His wife came from their little house and stood at his side as the senators begged for his help. The senators explained, "We offer you the post of dictator for 6 months, giving you complete control over Rome and her wealth during this emergency. Will you save us?" Cincinnatus did not answer. Instead, he turned and walked.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?